I am Bonte Hill, and as always, before we get to the meat of the show, as always, we're brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Every mattress is backed by our Rest Easy promise of a 365-night comfort guarantee with the lowest prices and next-day delivery. Visit sleepworld.com. That is sleepworld.com. Don't forget, get terror-free savings and get 40% off top brands like Beautyrest and Sealy. And fellas, we're going to sleep good tonight because we're going to be up all day talking about Jonathan Kuminga as he finally agreed to a 2-year, $48 million deal to return to the Golden State Warriors, a team option in the second year, as sources have confirmed to our very own Dalton Johnson. Of course, first reported by ESPN Shams Charania. He's eligible for a trade January 15th. There's a lot to get into with this deal here. So, Monty, I'll start with you. The Warriors and JK finally come to an agreement on the first day of training camp. You should be in tomorrow, and we could put this behind us. But why now? Why now? And why the 2-year, $48 million deal?
Well, neither side really wanted to deal with the qualifying offer. You know, although Aaron Turner, JK's agent, you know, he put that thread out there a while back. But, I mean, come on, the qualifying offer is less than $8 million. And they didn't want to do that. And the Warriors definitely didn't want to do it because it would lock them out of a contract slot that they could use to get a quality player. So the urgency was on both sides. But I don't think the Warriors ever believed that they would take the qualifying offer in the first place. I think they always felt like there's a way to get this, to avoid the qualifying offer, which was their priority. And for them to just bump up the money a little bit from the $45 million initially, that got it done. And I think if you're Kuminga, you know, it's like you're getting paid more money than you've ever had before right now. And you will have some, at worst, you will be an unrestricted free agent as soon as next summer. The Warriors can actually trade him before then. So, yeah, I think when you look at what happened here, I think the Warriors, I think they got the better of the deal in the long run.
Dalton, get in here.
Jonathan Kuminga also did turn down the 3-year, $75 million contract offer that the Warriors had on the table with a team option on the third-year deal because he believes that'll get him to his end goal of being a free agent sooner than later. He wanted to have that security and be able to kind of control his own destiny sooner than later instead of having to keep it in the Warriors' hands. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it felt like enough is enough from both sides. Let's put business to the side, put pen to paper, and let's get to basketball sooner than later because at this point, guys, we have a preseason game on Sunday. It's go time. First training camp practice happened today. It's time for everyone to get together and make basketball the main priority.
You know, that was a vibe for me that I sensed at Media Day, fellas, that, look, they understand the business. Everybody from Steph to Draymond to Jimmy, to Paz, even Jonathan Kuminga. And what you just said there, Dalton, it is go time. And what you don't want to do is this has lingered all summer long. And I understand both sides of it. Warriors have him as a restricted free agent. They want, hey, we want to have this control and give you the team option. JK's like, hey, I want freedom because I don't know if there's a guarantee that I'm going to play the minutes that I want to play. So I understand the stalemate on both sides of this thing. But once you get the basketball and once you hit the court to get ready for a whole new season, with Steph here, who's a 4-time champ, Draymond's a 4-time champ, Jimmy's trying to get a ring, Podge is trying to find his way in this league and make that third-year leap. Moses Moody saying, hey, I got confidence. I finally got some run last year. I want to play. They kind of owe it to the team to say, all right, I just got to do what I got to do to get on the court and help these guys because that's the last thing you want in this league for any team in any sport. Is you don't want to linger and be that guy that's not coming to training camp. And then everybody else has got to answer questions about you. And they're in an uncomfortable spot. So I'm glad that it got done here because you're right, DJ. It is go time, but very interesting. Again, I want to harp on this, Monty. The team option designed for the contract to be ripped up and renegotiated next summer. I'm with you here that the Warriors kind of won the posturing here with the team option. However, for JK, even if he gets traded before January 15th or after January 15th, the fact that the deal could be ripped up and he can renegotiate a new deal is a win for JK as well.
No doubt about it. I think that's the part that appealed to him in addition to the money, is that he can be an unrestricted free agent before he's 24 years old. And so that's the control he wanted. He gets more money than he thought he was going to get, than he would have gotten with a qualifying offer. More money than the Warriors' initial offer. Now, once we see how the contract is actually structured, we'll see how much the Warriors have, how far they are under the second apron. in terms of future roster moves. But when you look at JK, what he got, I think there's enough for him to say, you know what, to be satisfied, be content with what happened. I mean, come on, 92 days of this. It's finally over. So if you're the Warriors, I think you say, you know, we made the most of a bad situation. The only downside for the Warriors to me is that they couldn't put their team together back in July. It's too late for that. That ship sailed. That's the only real downside. Other than that, yeah, they found more money. Well, they got money, you know, and it won't hurt them in terms of finances if it's structured properly, which I'm sure it will be. So, yeah, I think JK did okay, but I think the Warriors, you know, they won the deal, I think.
DJ, was this about money, or was it about the fact that he just wants a guaranteed role on his team, which is not guaranteed? Like, we know how Steve Kerr operates. He's trying to win games. We'll see different starting lineups every other day. You may get 15 minutes today. You may get 30 minutes tomorrow. You have no idea. It's all about the flow of how the game is going for this basketball team. And Steve Kerr kind of mentioned it's like he's not guaranteed to start. We know who the guaranteed starters are. It's Jimmy, it's Dre, and it's Steph. We don't even know if Pops is going to start at the 2 guard. So at the end of the day, was this all about money, or was it about a role that he wants in terms of, hey, I want to play 30 minutes a game?
It was about money, it was about control, and it was about role. And now with this contract, you get the money where the qualifying offer would have been $7.9 million. And instead, this could really be mostly a 1-year, $22.5 million contract. If it gets ripped up, he goes to the unrestricted free agency, so he gets the money. The Warriors, they might feel like they have more control with the team option. And then we talk about the role. He's not going to start, not on a everyday basis by any means. He wants to be a starter. He wants to have the ball in his hands. He wants to close games. There's no guarantee that he's going to close games, and we know that on a usual basis, he will not be in the starting 5. There's nothing in this contract that says that Steve Kerr has to, well, now that you have the contract, I got to give you more minutes, give you a bigger role. No, it's still going to be run by the ways of Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, and now Al Horford as well. But I do believe that, ironically, after the 4 years of up and down, of the 3-month saga that finally came to an end, this is when the Warriors need the best version of Jonathan Kuminga most. At least, maybe not for a full season, but at least to get to January 15th. Because you look at the ages of the Warriors, you look at the schedule that they're facing up to that first day that he can be traded, and a 23-year-old that can at the very least go out and get you 20 points, no matter what the style fit questions continue to be. He could be a huge weapon in the back of the pocket to go out and be the real team that they want to be when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Steve has made it clear that JK is not a fit with Draymond and Jimmy. There's no spacing. And so today when we talked to Steve, he talked about spacing. He loved the spacing of this team now. And so that's not good. He knows if he plays JK, Jimmy, and Draymond, that spacing shrinks up. So you might see JK starting some back-to-backs because, let's face it, Jimmy and Draymond are not going to play every back-to-back. They may mix in a few, but they got to give those guys a break because of their age. And so JK might get some starts, but those 30 minutes a night that he wants, that's going to be rare. You know, if he comes in, he's balling really well, the team is going well, he'll stay in. But there'll be nights he gets, 12 minutes or 14 minutes or 19 minutes.
I think he can make himself some money for next offseason. And that's, how do you sacrifice? How do you play? And I think he impressed a lot of people with the way he played in Minnesota after racking up DNP after DNP after DNP. It would have been very easy to see a player, after not playing over the last couple of weeks of the regular season and not playing much against the Houston Rockets in the first round, I wouldn't have been surprised if JK struggled in that Minnesota series. Like, this guy hasn't playing the third best defense. But the fact that he stayed ready in that series against Minnesota and did what he had to do to try to help that team win, yeah, we could nitpick about rebounds and whether or not they won or not. He did what he had to do without Steph and Curry and no spacing. I think that springboard into this season to where he could maintain that professionalism and still be ready when his opportunity comes. I still think he could earn that money that he's looking for here, and also that role that he could be looking for in the future, Dalton.
Yeah, if you're the Sacramento Kings, you're the Phoenix Suns, the two teams that went out and had the offers on the table for sign and trades. And then we know that next offseason, there will be more teams with more cap space compared to this offseason. The timing of Jonathan Kuminga's injury, the timing of the Jimmy Butler trade, the timing of this offseason, none of it worked in his favor. But now if he can show that the mental fortitude matches his skill set, his potential, that word that still kind of hangs in the air, potential versus production, if that can all coalesce together, then he's going to go out and get his money. He's going to go out and get the role that he desires. So I think that really this puts just as equal of pressure on Jonathan Kuminga to go show that you can buy into a championship roster that is built around Steph Curry, that you can fit a role. And then on those nights where you want to have the ball in your hand, when it's a night off for Jimmy, for Steph Curry, then show us a guy that you can be. But when it's built around those core 3, core 4 guys that you can fit a role, that's only going to help him get his end goal as well. So I think that there's definitely a way that both sides win and in the end, because it's felt like an offseason of a lose-lose situation that can turn into a win-win situation as well.
Yeah, I think you look at this and, JK, the spotlight's going to be on him brighter than ever before.
No doubt.
Bigger and brighter. Because of what happened. If this had been done in July, no big deal. But because it dragged on all summer and everybody's waiting for the Warriors to do something and they can't do it, now all of a sudden the spotlight's gigantic. So he has to perform well. Or otherwise, man, it could get ugly. It could get ugly.
What already has, Monty. I mean, if you go on social media, if you say, hey, JK played okay, you got about 500 trolls coming down your timeline here. Walking down the street, what's up with JK? You going to take the money? It's going to be a question, no doubt. Everybody's going to clip if he misses a screen, if he doesn't pass the ball to Steph, if he doesn't grab a rebound, everybody's going to be hyper-focused on this young man. And I think he has to understand that, especially today. He's going to have to understand that because people are hyper-focused on his workout videos in Cleveland, Ohio. So I can't wait for him to come. He now has the 4th highest salary on the Warriors payroll behind Jimmy Butler, of course, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. So he walks into this locker room now, and it's time to go. The biggest question I have, fellas, how's that relationship going to be between Jonathan Kuminga and Steve Kerr? Because we know it's coming. If he does struggle early, Steve Kerr's the ultimate professional, and he has to do what he has to do as a head coach. I don't blame Steve Kerr whatsoever. He's a veteran-laden coach who's trying to win championships, and this is a high-pressure job coaching under Joe Lacob. He wants to win. This region now wants to win. So Kerr has to do what he has to do to win, and that may not involve JK sometimes here, but that is the billion-dollar question. How do those two coexist? I think it'll be professional, but the moment JK doesn't get 25 minutes, minute he doesn't get 20 minutes, will we hear from Aaron Turner? Will there be an article from Dalton Johnson? How's that going to – that's my biggest question now. How can those two coexist mainly on JK? Go ahead, Monty.
No, that's because, as we said, there's going to be hyper-focus on him. And not just his performance, but his attitude. People want to see him perform, produce, and they also want to see that he feels like he's content. They want to see that. They want to see it. If there's any sign of moping or any complaint in the media, people are going to turn on him so quick. It's already happened in many cases.
I was going to say, have they already turned on him?
Well, some have. Oh yeah, but
loud voices.
What we have right now is a sort of you have the JK stands, and you have anybody who's not a stand is quote a hater now. It's like it really is. So
you're the number one hater, buddy. I'm kidding.
Man. Yeah, I mean,
I'm a stand. I'm a JK apologist.
That he should do and could do and doesn't do makes me a hater. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at the reality of that draft that he was in, look at the players that were drafted with him, the lottery picks that were drafted with him, and where they are. Those guys, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Franz Wagner, all these guys have been identified as cornerstones for their franchise. Even a guy who drafted after him, Alperen Sengun, didn't get the max, but you think the Rockets going to let him go anytime soon? So, and JK has to digest all of that too.